possible that the subject that you're delivering involves using one of Charles Sturt's IVT teaching spaces, which stands for Interactive Video Teaching. Effectively, some of our larger lecture theatres and other teaching spaces will use Zoom meetings to record the delivery in that space and then make that recording available back to the subject convener or other organisers within the subject once the recording's finished. So that process starts with completing this form that goes to DIT. They make the room bookings and make sure the recordings are set to happen automatically. But what happens after you finish making that recording, and how do you make that available to students? Quite often you'll find that the convener will receive an email notification from Zoom that will have this sort of notification in it, and ultimately what we're getting out of that is a hyperlink somewhere to a Zoom meeting. So I've got one here, I'm just going to copy that for later. Now let's talk about how we make that available to students within a subject. So I'm going back within a subject site, and what I'm proposing is that you actually go into your discussion forum area to make a space for these recording links. Now you may well ask, why are you not just creating a new content page to put this in? And the reason for that is that we actually intend for the key learning materials or content for a subject to be available within the content area. So your topics, for example, your critical readings, that sort of thing. But support materials, such as these recordings, really need to sit in a separate area outside of content as such. So I'm going to propose that you create a topic within your discussion forum that we can then house those links as they come through week after week. So I've opened up discussions. I'm looking at my list of forums and topics, and I'm going to create a new topic in my main subject forum here for my IVT recordings. Now you can simply click the drop down arrow next to the title of the forum and add a topic, and I'm going to call this topic Weekly IVT Recordings. You can call it whatever you like for students, and hit save. And at that point we get one topic ready for us to work with. So if I open this up, at the moment it's empty. Now you could either post a new thread each week where you're simply just copying and pasting the links. So for example, I'd go right, start a new thread, week 1, and here's the description, and there's the recording, and perhaps you would then add some attachments, etc., to each of those recordings underneath. You can see that you've got the ability to add files and attachments underneath. So you could add those in here. That's one way of approaching this. If we hit post, we see now that we have week 1 and students coming into the discussion forum area would see that there's one post in there, so they'd go in there and be able to watch each of those week after week. You could create a new thread. It's not the cleanest looking way of making them available, but it would be very easy for you to go in and just simply make a new post with those links. The other way we could do it is to create a table that we actually drop the links into. So what I'm going to do in this case is actually edit that original topic, and inside the description for my topic, what I'm going to create is actually a table. So if I hit this little plus icon in the editor, I can make a table, and if we have a look at how big we want that table to be, I'm going to say I want one for the title, one for the link, and maybe one for other items I might want to attach. Let's just make a few to begin with. We'll make this a bit bigger, or we can even pop out this screen so we can work with the table in full screen. We'll give it a title, week, maybe the topic. You could add another column for that, and let's go with Zoom recording link, and files or notes. Alright, so I've got 3 columns, and then if my first week I get a recording coming in, I might even put topic 1, for example, whatever you're going to put in there. And then we've got a space to paste our link. Now that Zoom recording link we looked at before was actually quite long. So what I'm going to do here is actually just type the word link and then left click and drag to highlight. And you'll notice straight away I now have this option to link underneath. And I can paste in, get rid of this HTTPS at the beginning, and then paste in your Zoom link. And what that will do for us when we hit apply is it leaves the word link on the page, but the hyperlink sits underneath it. So at that point now I've provided the recording link to students. They can come in and click this each week. I can put in each of the weeks in advance if I wanted to, pre-populate all of this. And then afterwards, if I wanted to put attachments in here, I could also do that within the table as well. So what you can do in this chart, we've got an option here called Quick Link, and that will allow you to point students to any other part of the subject site. So if you wanted to point them towards particular content areas, you could point towards one of your topics. Potentially, if you wanted to point them towards a file that you've uploaded into your subject files, you could do that from here as well. Otherwise, you're also free to use this button, Insert Stuff, and you could upload a file from your computer. So if I went into my computer and found a document, let's say that we had some slides, for example. I'll just add a PDF at this point, that'll do. And I upload that. Hit upload, let's have a look. This is what it looks like currently, the full title of the PDF. But again, I want to give it a shorter name, so I can type that into link text here and hit insert. And then we have our table sitting there for students with a link to the recording and a link to the file that I've uploaded here and the title for it as well. So what I'm going to do at this point is hop out of this full screen view, hit save and close. And what I have now sitting on the page is my table with a link to the Zoom recording and a link to any files that are attached with it. Clicking on this will open the Zoom player, and then we can play back the recording. So you can see this is actually quite a clean solution to being able to provide each of your weekly IVT recordings to students without going through creating a new thread every week or sending out a new announcement each week. You can simply create a table space for them and just add them in here for them to access. And that's probably a little bit cleaner and easier to access for students than trying to find individual threads or announcement posts, etc. Once you've received the notification that the recording is finished. So we hope that helps. Thank you.